What's up, everybody? Welcome to more 2021 TNT Champions Swiss Rounds coverage. I'm Delthius. How's it going? I'm doing well. Not a whole lot to report on my end. Just living life. And yeah, so today we're looking at some more Swiss games. I think we're on week 3 of the Swiss. Yeah, week 3 is finishing up now. And how this is working, if you're kind of new to this event, is on this season of ToothandTail Championship, essentially. There's a bunch of Swiss rounds leading up into GSL group style formats. We had the GSL group style formats last season as well, and I think people really enjoyed it. So doing it again this time around with some Swiss placements. It's been a lot of fun. I've been enjoying playing in it. And today we've got 3 matches we're going to do. We're going to kind of work our way up from the bottom here. QQ versus Powelon, Mishi versus Rush, and Airlu versus Snake. A little bit of an impromptu stream. I just kind of woke up today. I was like, you know what? I'll do some casting today. Why not? Help get through a lot of these games. A ton of casters are covering this event too, by the way. You can check out those channels underneath the stream you're watching now. I've got links to everybody else as well as the Discord. For the most part, hopefully I'm not missing anyone down there. But anyways, yeah, let's hop right into this. Game number 1 here, QQ versus Powelon in some Swiss rounds. Best of 5. Okay, spawning in the top left, 2 Meows, aka QQ, and in the bottom, Powelon. QQ also a streamer. He's a big StarCraft player as well. I think he was up there like master level Zerg last time I was checking out his stream. Cool dude. I think he plays poker too. I think I've watched a couple of his poker streams. Every now and then he kind of gets involved in the scene and, you know, does some casting or organizing events. But guy's definitely got some cool style. Definitely a good RTS player. And, you know, I feel like his level is kind of dependent, of course, on how active he is playing. But we got a 4-farm double here, and QQ right up on the edge of the territory, really trying to pressure Powelon. Powelon does respond with a 5-farm Warren, though, so QQ actually calls it out and cancels that rush, forcing a little bit of wire, too, which is kind of nice. I do like how QQ went ahead and rebuilt some Warrens, though. Maybe he didn't need 2, but 2 was safe when he sold the front ones, because you got to be careful about that when you try to fake out aggression. Sometimes you can mess yourself up, you know, build some Warrens, force the opponent to build Warrens, sell them, build farms, and then your opponent's like, well, now I have units and you don't, and they push. But QQ's coming in. He did identify Powelon's only got 1 Warren, skimped out there. 2 QQ's double Warren. So I am glad QQ is able to get some value out of going double Warren there. And this is getting pretty effective. 1 pig goes down. I thought he was going to get that other one. Ooh, his commander goes down, but yeah, the squirrel should get cleaned up before that pig dies, so. Nice hold there from Powelon, only losing 1 pig. Feels okay. You know, especially because of the situation, being behind so many units. And I think QQ probably wanted to get a little bit more out of that rush. You know, at least, you know, 1 pig is kind of the bare minimum if you trade well, but I think QQ would have felt a lot better about that pressure if 2 pigs would have went down. And so, let's see how the players want to advance from here. Powelon grabbing an expansion, and interesting decks, by the way. I mean, it's been so action-packed, I haven't got the chance to really talk about it, but I like some of these Cam Falcon builds. They're fun to play, to me, you know, trying to figure it out. Looks like 2 Meows is staying pretty aggressive with his deck. I think he's trying to get under that like dreaded Wolf Owl Snake combo in the late game. I don't think QQ ever wants to get to the late game with this strategy. I think he just wants to keep pressuring the opponent, never to give them the breathing room to power up into multiple tier 3. Meanwhile, Powelon going with the boar, and the boar is definitely strong. But I think Powelon's deck again is more of a mid to late game deck. Like, I feel like QQ's kind of got an early to mid game thing going on, and then it's like, hey, you know, if I get this crazy large match or map rather, and I'm stuck in a long game, you know, QQ's got the Falcons to try to scale up. I'm curious about the Toads. The Toads aren't as popular as they were, but oftentimes when units get nerfed, they can be a little bit what's the word I'm looking for? Like, a little bit undervalued by the scene, you know? It's pretty typical knee-jerk reaction. I'm not saying that's the case with Toads, like that it's knee-jerk or anything. It's probably warranted. But it's still a unit, and none of the units are so bad where you can't use them. And it can be quite surprising, you know, if the opponent's not expecting Toads because they aren't really a meta unit at the moment, all of a sudden you get 12 or 15 of them and just blast into a bunch of Warrens. I mean, that could work. QQ coming around looking for some damage, but gonna come back. Good positioning there from Powlon. And a lot of wire out here from Powlon, too. I think he's kind of reading QQ correctly, that QQ wants to stay aggressive. And this wire is helping. It's not very expensive to invest in that at all. 3 pigs go down there. So, feels pretty good for Araloo. Did lose a lot of units to do that. But you gotta keep in mind when you kill a pig, it's so much damage, especially when you kill pigs like these ones right here that have almost all the wheat harvested off that farm. In a way, I kind of consider counting this extra food remaining on the pig as damage, right? Because you're not going to want to rebuild that pig. You'd rather spend the 60 bucks on a brand new fresh farm if you can. So, interesting to think about little things like that. But Powlon does go for the boar, and has kind of weathered the storm that is QQ's aggression thus far. So this boar is getting built. QQ doesn't see it, but it's got some snakes on the way. Figured, okay, at this point in the game, we're on 2 base economy. There's going to be something. I think snakes are a good call. You know, there's probably going to be a tier 3 coming up. If there isn't, there's going to be a bunch of tier 2. And in either case, the snakes will be good. Good scout here from QQ. Going to come in and see that boar is building. So QQ can think about maybe going down on tier 1 a bit, going up on tier 2. I wonder, like, you don't want to overcommit to selling off your tier 1 when you see a boar, right? Because I think you just gotta control well. Like, you want to try to keep the lizards back, probably. The lizards and the squirrels back until your snakes can kind of get the job done on the boar. But Powlon's boar is going to be here very soon, and typically when a boar is built, that means an attack is coming with it. Two meows is QQ, Proto. Oh, I think you're just making a joke, because the attack timing was so good. Welcome to the chat, guys, by the way. Hey, what's up, Bowtie Bun? Good to see you. Glad you're enjoying some games here. Yeah, I appreciate people tuning in. This is kind of an impromptu stream today, but I know most people kind of check the VODs out anyway, so I don't really stress about that stuff too much. 4 snakes. About here for QQ. Okay, the boar army is together. This is a nice looking army from Powlon. A lot of diversity. Some very strong units. So again, let's see how QQ wants to handle this. Oh no, you cannot lose this commander here. The poison on the commander goes down. QQ is not here to micro his army. Let's see if it matters though. So far the snakes are doing a good job of kind of cleaning things up. QQ does pull back because he doesn't really know what's going on the front after the commander died. But this Snake Falcon comp here should be able to clean up this boar, I think. QQ's trying to get the tags on it, does get the tags. Let's see if Powlon has enough reinforcements. The boar goes down. A couple Falcons still in the air for Powlon here, doing a lot of damage. Ooh, that cam out of 2 meows might be enough. He wants to keep these Falcons alive. Okay, nice pullback from Powlon. I think he just take it home for now. Actually got enough money for a boar, but let's see if Powlon wants to commit to it. No, he's gonna decide to get rid of it. That was a crazy, crazy engagement there. But according to the army graphs, Powlon came out much more cost-effective, and I think that had a lot to do with QQ's commander dying to snake poison right at the beginning. Okay, so Powlon moving back out, trying to get some more damage on QQ, coming in with a flank. Does QQ have enough units here? I think QQ really needed to try to hunker down and turtle. You know, Defender's advantage is very strong, but his units are kind of spread out. You know, picking up this spare snake as it's slithering across the map, trying to get to the rest of the army. You know, little things like that are huge, and Powlon is looking for blood. Coming in. And let's see if he's got enough to actually get the job done here. QQ wants to keep this Falcon alive, not going to be able to. And yeah, this split rally here is very, very tough for QQ. There's no, like, ramp around here. I mean, there is one in the back, but it's a little bit too awkward, and the AI of the units don't want to deal with it. I think what QQ would really like would be if he had the opportunity to sell some of these Warrens at his first base and kind of re-establish himself over here. And when all things are said and done, I mean, QQ is still alive. The economies are still pretty even. And Paolon knows he's got a little bit of tempo, though. I like going up on Tier 1, by the way. I think that's very important when you're trying to stay aggressive like this, mostly because, nice pickup. Again, this is really killing QQ, you know, this rally. But because those units just rebuild so fast. Yeah, that should be the killing blow there. Paolon knocking out that last base is pretty much checkmate for QQ. QQ's gonna fight to the last unit, tooth and nail here. It is a tournament match, but this one is over. There it is, GG. Okay, so that's a point on the board for Paolon. Yeah, I think that third base was kind of rough for QQ on that map, and also losing the commander right when things got started was very rough. But nicely done by Paolon. I was kind of focusing a lot on QQ that game, but Paolon stayed very very sturdy. You know, like QQ was kind of the antagonist there. And Paolon was like the honorable nerd, you know, just trying to macro up, trying to swat away the aggression and get to that comp that he was looking for. And he finally got there in the end. On the left-hand side, we got Paolon. And up top, QQ. All right. I'm hyped for this game, man. I love QQ's deck. It's so off the wall. I've got a lot to say about that, honestly. Like, yeah, there's a lot of units in QQ's deck that you could say are kind of weak in the current meta. But that's what makes it so good, as weird as that sounds, in a tournament. You know, this isn't the kind of deck you'd want to just play on ladder. For the most part, this is like a Swiss Army knife deck that you put into a best-of-5 or a best-of-7 series just to keep your opponent on their toes. Like, look at this. Paolon's got the same deck as last time, or at least very similar. I think he swapped out the wire for the mine, which is going to come in handy here against Fox if we do get to see a Fox this game. But 4-farm double opening for Paolon. QQ just scouting it now. A bit of an awkward map. But again, since the map is awkward, I don't think this rush is really going to work for QQ. It's quite a far distance. Oh, but he can sneak through the water. Apocalypse Now style. Here we go. Start playing some Run Through the Jungle or All Along the Watchtower from Jimi Hendrix. I would. If I was good at soundboards and if I wouldn't get DMCA'd. There we go. Bam. Lots of value there. Wants to get that last pig and gets it. That is so much damage. 3 pigs and a mine go down. For what, 3 or 4 lizards? See, that's the kind of damage you really need in these kinds of rushes. So, good job from QQ. Identifying this little wiggle room through that left side of the map. And Paolon taking some punches there, but can possibly recover. Keep in mind, you do have to delay your economy a lot to do that rush. But Paolon is playing from a deficit here. I would love to see something like taking this cabin to get back into it. It is a bit rough when your opponent's got lizards like this, though, and there's so much road on this map. QQ is going to be able to use these lizards to run around everywhere, but Paolon's kind of got 1 or 2 options in this style of in this situation, I should say. One is to just kind of, you know, hold back, turtle up, try to get a second base farm advantage, you know, be building like 5 farms and the opponent's got 3 or something, and just wait. Like, the longer the game goes on, the less that food differential is going to matter because there's more food overall in the game. So yeah, if I'm Paolon, I'm probably just looking to hunker down for a bit. Meanwhile, QQ did have the opportunity to try to snowball or capitalize on that advantage, but not going to do anything crazy. Just, yeah, it's got a fast second base coming. Got some extra farms, so QQ in a good spot so far, which is kind of what you need for this Ferret Fox kind of style, right? I'm trying to think if QQ's got... He might be able to set up down here and, like, start building balloons and creep his way to this campfire if he wants to get aggressive with defenses. The balloon wire's kind of cool. because the wire deals with the tier 1, the balloon deals with the tier 2. But since QQ is using units like ferrets and foxes, wants to kind of be ahead on the food to really make that strategy work, but not going to go for that at all, actually. Going for a surprise boar. And Palon's had to stay so defensive. You know, there are multiple attack paths here. You got to be watching the opponent's commander when they have lizards. So that makes it really difficult to actually go in and scout. And QQ's capitalizing on it very nicely with the boar. It's going to be less susceptible to mines than the fox is, since the fox has very low HP pool. And I think QQ's probably seen these mines. I'm not 100% on that. So unfortunately, we do see these cool units like the ferret and the fox and stuff, but QQ looks like it's just going to go ahead and try to end the game with the boar. I can't blame him. I mean, I think it's a smart move to make. But imagine if he did go for fox though instead of boar. Like, and I think that's one way maybe fox can kind of get back in the meta is the timing that he built the boar. If that was the fox, like I kind of wish these tier 3 were backwards. Because I think that's where the fox might actually be able to find a window to shine in modern Tooth and Tail, is if you are able to kind of like sneak it out. You know what I mean? Like get a really fast fox warren that goes unscouted. And that's exactly what we had here from the boar. I mean, keep in mind this boar push could certainly just end the game. I'd wait for the boar though, getting a little bit impatient with the lizards here. Is actually deciding to go home. So yeah, imagine if this was a fox, like staying aggressive with the lizards too, like helps deny your opponent from being able to scout. So that's exactly what you need to get that sneaky fox out, and then you could just be poking. But QQ's getting the confidence up, gonna move down here with the boar. At this point though, a couple falcons have been out, and that can be all you need. Like if you have good positioning with falcons, they can do a lot of damage really quickly to tier 3. 4 falcons in particular can burst through a badger or a boar pretty well. Alright, QQ's pushing up. He is going to be able to get this campfire. I think he's aware of these mines and just doesn't want this big mine explosion, yeah, just like that. But you can't leave the boar out there by itself. It does need some fodder. And Paolon's going to hold. The fox is here, though, which is going to be nice against these tier 2. And the only thing Paolon's really got that's good against fox are mines here. I mean, snakes are okay, but to be honest, if your fox gets tagged by a snake, that's kind of a shame on you situation. Yeah, 4 falcons in the air. Oh, I like this a lot. You know, the falcons deal with the boar, but the fox hard counters the falcon since it one-shots them. Alright, so QQ's keeping the pressure on here with this fox. I think the big story, as exciting as it is that QQ's using a little bit of an interesting deck, is really the money. Like, throughout all this, QQ's been able to have a superior economy. And that's the most important thing in any RTS, is always more money. If you got enough money, you can build whatever you want and beat your opponent if you have a big enough lead economically. Alright, QQ's looking for some more bacon. Gonna come in, take a mine shot to the face with the fox, but seems okay for now. And is just gonna 1,000 paper cuts Paolon to death. And we should be about at the end of this game here. Paolon's gonna be forced to tap with no economy left. And cool win there from QQ. We get to see a fox victory, which is always fun. Okay, 1-1. We got a series on our hands now. Cactum chat asking what we're playing today. Airlu vs Snake, Nishi vs Rush, and QQ vs Paolon. And I might do some more streaming tomorrow. We'll see how I feel. The weekend streams are pretty good for me. I'll be honest, like, I used to stream during the week, but after work, man, now I'm getting old. I'm just tired, you know what I mean? It's hard to be talkative, but the weekends are nice. You get to relax, so. And plus weekends work out better for the audience anyways, because a lot of people are European, so I get to start earlier on the weekend. And yeah, and more people can be hanging out live. Alright, game number 3, tied up 1-1. Over on the right-hand side, we've got QQ Rocking that cool boar fox deck again, and on the top left, Powlon. Going for the owl snake this time around. No wolf. Typically we see wolf, owl, snake. That's kind of the story of the meta, as I understand it. Kind of two things this patch. It's lizard dominance in the early game, right? And then it's wolf, owl, snake in the late game. That's kind of the composition with the target on its back at the moment. People are either trying to pilot wolf, owl, snake to victory, or find ways to combat it, you know, trying to theory craft, okay, maybe this crazy composition can deal with it in the late game, or maybe I can use this deck to get under it, you know, try to beat them down before they can get to that supreme late game comp. And 7 farm Warren out from Powlon. I don't think QQ has to respect that, though. I think QQ can just build an 8 farm Warren and be fine. Wow! 8 farm mill. While knowing his 7 farm Warren's on the way. What is QQ doing here? And then sells 2 farms for double lizard, triple lizard. Okay, why did he build the mill? Is he trying to throw Powlon off? Like, oh yeah, okay, so yeah, it was just to throw Powlon off from the scout. But I think he meant to sell it. Because right now what Powlon sees is 8 farms and an expansion, but in reality, QQ went for a 6 farm triple Warren. Yeah, I can't think of a reason why QQ would have wanted to keep the mill, because that 60 food could have been a farm. QQ gonna put some pressure on here. Oh, needs to engage all together. Okay, actually trades 1 for 1 there, I think. I grabbed that mill. Nice little 60 bucks. That was pretty important in the early game. Oh, man, if you got that again, that'd have been huge. This is really bad for Powlon. He could not afford to have his squirrels out there like in the opener, and he might just tap. This is so much damage. 3 farms down and a mill. Powlon thinking about it, does decide to go ahead and tap out. Not an unplayable position, but pretty much. I do agree with that decision. There are some people who are very vehement on, like, never tap unless it's 100%. I mean, you could argue maybe Powlon could have found a way back in that game, but I don't think so. Powlon gonna save the stamina, the mental fortitude, shake that one off, and head into game number 4 here. Yeah, you gotta be careful when you're playing squirrels versus lizards. Over on the right-hand side, we got QQ changing up again. I think I've seen him play this deck, actually, in a previous cast. You know, all the tier 1 plus a snake, just in case. Over on the left-hand side, Powlon going back a little bit more to the tried and true. Gonna go back to the comp that won him a game earlier. Not sure if it was pigeons. No, it wasn't. I think it was wire instead of pigeons, but I like pigeons. I think they're a good addition into a late game death ball if you've kind of got that spot in your deck. You know what I mean? Like having like 6 pigeons there to help heal your skunks or something can be really nice. And back in the day, this guy push was pretty reliant on the pigeons. A squirrel, mole, skunk, pigeon push. You could probably still try something similar to that, maybe replacing mole with lizard or something. Or honestly, maybe even keeping the mole because it'll help deal with Warren so fast. But I was talking so much, I didn't even comment on the fact QQ is rushing again this game. Starting to get some value. Yeah, these you gotta be careful with these squirrels. They really need to fight in the Warrens here, ideally. The Warrens are such a double-edged sword in placement, you know, because I think the consensus is like this is the correct placement nowadays for the Warrens, because you don't want to lose the Warrens. Like, losing the Warrens is actually kind of worse than losing pigs in this situation. Like, if QQ comes in and kills both Warrens, then you have no units, right? And the follow-up attack kills you. But if he kills a pig or two, then maybe you can hold on. But yeah, the other thought is, well, if the Warrens are up front and you can hold, then they kind of tank for you. The squirrels do a really good job of kind of standing on the Warrens and firing. The lizards will kind of waste some of their shots on the Warrens and that sort of thing. But It is risky. Sometimes you can bait your opponents if you do decide to place your warrens kind of like a shield or like a supply depot if you're a Terran in StarCraft. Is sometimes your opponents can overcommit. I do that a lot. Like if I see a warren that I think I can get, I try to, you know. And while you're focusing that warren, you're not focusing the enemy units. And they get a lot of free damage on you. QQ, man. Try and do some Harlem Globetrotter stuff here. Just running all around the map with these lizards. Trying to find an opening. I think he could have committed harder right there and got a pig, but decided not to. Gonna come home, though. Needs to macro up a bit. That 8th farm was pretty delayed by QQ. But Paolon's still recovering from that rush. Is still building their own farms, so... The dust is settling here. And things are starting to even out a bit. Looks pretty even on food. I think QQ does have a bit extra. Yeah, I think he kind of wiggled his way to be about 60 food ahead. Just kind of looking at these units up top. So I think QQ does have a bit of a food lead after everything was said and done in the early game, but nothing crazy. And this pure squirrel comp, you know, I'm a bit surprised. A lot of times if you're going to go one core tier 1 nowadays, you do go for the lizards. But Paolon trying to hold on with the squirrels here. Ooh, trying to tech switch into the skunks right as the attack is coming. Unfortunate timing for Paolon. He's hoping QQ will give him some breathing room here. Love just a few squirrels here for the poke. Lots of toads here in the back. They're your banelings. You want to crush them. You want a big engagement where Paolon's all like clumped up like this with his units, and the toads kind of hit the warrens and splash onto the units ideally. Alright, QQ just going to grab that and go home. I think he should have pushed the issue though, maybe. Maybe I'm wrong. He is floating a lot of money though, so we got to go home and build. I'm not sure about the snake. Yeah, I think you just pedal to the metal with more tier 1 here. Yeah, here we go. That's what I want to see, QQ. I think that's the right move. He needs to find the right angle. Like, I feel like QQ wants to come in like this. Because with a lot of the toads and the moles in the comp, you actually do want to fight where the enemy's warrens are. Because you're going to do so much explosive damage to structures up front. You're just going to delete all these warrens. And this first wave isn't really the kill wave. It's the second wave. After these moles have started to pound on the warrens and whatnot. But Paolon very smartly taking that engagement out in the open, trying to kite back and keep the fight off the warrens as much as possible. You can see how quickly those moles knocked down a couple of those warrens there. So honestly, like really good control there from Paolon. He kept the skunks alive, which is very important. And the pigeons are going to be great to mine sweep here. Paolon just going to move forward with the skunks, hit those mines. That's 20 food every time he hits a mine. This is looking a bit scary for QQ. Trying to get the snakes up. These mines are doing a good job buying him time. With the snakes in the red anyways, QQ's going to go ahead and get this engagement going. Does he have enough tier 1 here? Economies are getting very low. We're well past the 5-minute mark. And neither player's really been able to secure a second base or any sort of farms if they do have a second base. QQ wants that snake kill. Paolon with some great micro here. This pigeon helping heal it up. I hate how dumb pigeons are, man. We need to complain to Eel and get him to write in to the code. Like, pigeons should prioritize healing the highest tier unit they're around. I think that'd be a cool pigeon change. Oh my god, 1 HP on this skunk Paolon. Fantastic control there. Man, I can't believe that skunk lived. Right, QQ trying to come in and get a deep scout, see what's going on. Scratch his head, figure out what the next play is. Neither player is dead so far, but it's looking a lot better for Paolon at the moment. Paolon's pretty much got the same quantity of tier 1 plus some skunks here. And Paolon's even investing in his future, saving up money, getting that second base rolling. All right, this is what QQ needs. He needs to find a way to make a play with these lizards. That would absolutely be huge. But there's no... I think he was looking for a ramp, like, right here, and it just doesn't exist. You'd have to go all the way around. You have to deal with that cabin, so goes home for now. But yeah, I think that would be a good move from QQ. I honestly would like to see him build up more squirrels and then use those 9 lizards to kind of run around and try to find some value on the map. That way, if your lizards get kind of screwed, you know, like you're gonna lose them all, you went in too deep or something, you've got some units back at home. But no, actually QQ gonna go full throttle on the lizards here, which is nice as well because you can try to force a base trade. But good scouting by Palon. And a lot of players have trouble dealing with lizards, like situations like this. I mean, sometimes you can just get unlucky. Palon's out scouting and QQ is running around. But look, he sees the lizard running away. He knows QQ is up to no good. Comes back down. Seeing that seeing that lizard was so important. But if you're in Palon's position, in my opinion, the number one thing you got to be thinking about is where's the enemy commander on the map. You're almost more concerned about scouting the enemy commander than you are their base. Like, you just need to keep on track of where they're moving the lizards. Shuffle around your army. Stay in a good spot. It is a very defensive position, and this is why I think this kind of running around constantly with lizards strategy might do pretty well with something like a fox. You know, because you can't scout if you're Palon at the moment. You got to make sure you're in the right position for these lizards, so you just kind of, bam, sneak a fox warren back there or something. Palon is doing a good job of trying to find windows to come in here and take a look around, at least getting an idea of how many farms the opponent's on. And QQ's also doing a good job of delaying the game here. That's something you really want to do when you're behind. That's why the best players in the game, you know, we oftentimes talk about their killer instinct. Like, that's why they're so good. Because that's really what high-level Tooth and Tail is all about, is understanding... Wow, I love this play. Understanding when you can actually move in and win the game. Because if you don't hit those windows, even if you are pretty far in the lead, your opponent can come back. And look, this mole just spawns and starts going to work on these warrens. So great for QQ, and he's threatening up here with the lizards. If Palon tries to come deal with this, oh my god, and the AI actually picks up another one. QQ could hit the rally on these moles. These moles killed, what, 2 tier 1 warrens and a tier 2? Maybe 3 tier 1? And forced to sell on another? Like, that was amazing, and right as Palon goes to deal with those, bam, QQ comes in, he's gonna hard dive on the mill. Was that the right choice? It looks like it could be. Palon is starving now, but QQ used his entire army. He's only got a few lizards left. Palon needs to move in right here, right now, and try to win the game. Is not gonna win, I don't think, if he tries to rebuild here. I think he just had to push. He's gonna come in now. But again, I think this is too late. I think what Palon is doing is setting up to not get base raced. But he needed every second. He needed to come in when QQ only had 6 lizards there. And here goes QQ. He's not gonna fight. He's just gonna go ahead and try to get that base race done. He's got enough money to grab this farm, or the campfire, but if Palon can destroy this mill before that campfire's done building, he can win. He needs every second matters, though. Palon's gonna go home and defend. Oh man, I think Palon could have won the game if he could min it in. But let's see if he can fend off the lizards from QQ, clean all this up, and then go win. He does still have this one last mill. He's taken out a decent amount of these lizards, but at the same time, I mean, there's still 8 here. There's not enough to fight Palon's army, but there's enough to backstab. Nice job, too, for Palon picking up this other mill. So now Palon can move up some units and clean up this campfire. Nice pickup by QQ, grabbing that mill. Alright, QQ looking for it. It's coming down to QQ is starving. He's got no more money. He's going to commit to this mill, but Powlon will clean it up. Okay, Powlon should win from here. QQ is totally out of gas. GG. I'm kind of glad that Powlon sealed it up in the end there because I think they could have won a couple times throughout that game. But again, that's where the difficulty of Tooth and Tail is. It's easy for me to sit here with my omnipresent vision, omnipotent vision, that's the word I was looking for, and be like, oh, here's a window, but that's what makes RTS so much fun, such a beautiful genre, and why it's so replayable, is that you're playing with incomplete information, you know. So you gotta make the best decision based on what you know at the time. Over here on the left, QQ, and in the right, Powlon. This is game number 5 here. This is for the whole kit and caboodle. Jeez. That's like 70s term. Nobody says kit and caboodle anymore. What am I thinking? What does that even mean, the whole kit and caboodle? Like, what's a caboodle? Is that... In my brain, I kind of parse that phrase of meaning like a basket. Is a caboodle a basket? Like, I just picture in my head when somebody says kit and caboodle, like a big basket of cats. I don't know. The whole kit and caboodle implies that we're talking about plural amounts of kittens here. So QQ relying on owl ferret defense kind of strategy. Meanwhile, Powlon, going back to this bread and butter build, likes the boar skunk snake style, kind of putting in and out different units. You know, those toads and mine positions. So yeah, looks like we got a proper game here. No aggression from either side. Awkward map. Both players have this kind of natural that is just, you know, shared high ground within spitting distance of each other. And this can get really one-sided really fast. You know, Powlon needs to come up here and plant his feet on the ground. But QQ does not have lizards this game, actually, which is actually pretty big. Because normally it'd be hard for Powlon to get this position with lizards versus squirrels. But since QQ doesn't have squirrels, or I'm sorry, doesn't have lizards, Powlon's not at like a big muscle disadvantage, you know, here in the early game. But these turrets, this turret ferret is like so perfect for this map. Oh my god, like QQ could not have asked for a better map. And yeah, there is a secret base I did want to point out earlier, but here it is. Powlon's gonna grab it. QQ probably doesn't have that scout. Oh wow. Good job from QQ with his due diligence there in the early game. Did find that, because I think the only way to get in here is actually through the rear of Powlon's base. It probably won't happen, but the ferret can totally siege that, which would be hilarious. Speaking of ferrets, we got a ferret here from QQ. And this is like the ferret dream spawn. Like, if there's a map, if there's a situation where ferrets should work, it's right here, right now. You know, this is a very linear map. You can build these defenses right at the enemy's base to back up the ferrets. The problem is the snakes. The snakes are just kind of better ferrets at the moment. Like, with their capability to poke. Since they never miss their shots, since they slow down enemy units, they don't have the range that the ferrets have. But a lot of times the snakes can counter the ferrets pretty nicely. Which is unfortunate for ferret players, and one of the reasons why ferrets aren't so good at the moment. Because most people are going to have snakes. Like, you should go into a match of Tooth and Tail expecting your opponent has snakes. But so far, the ferrets have been able to hold strong. These mines doing well. The turret's actually adding a lot of value here. Powlon is trying to poke in onto the turrets with the snake. Does get that snake back this time around, but maybe QQ's starting to get too much value here. These ferrets are in shelling distance of the important infrastructure here from Powlon. 1 HP on that snake, needs to give it a bath. RTS is trying to bribe Tatanka in the chat with subs to stream more. Alright, let's see here. QQ pushing in. 1 snake remaining from Powlon. Needs to actually probably move up and try to dance with that snake to avoid the ferret shots, but at the same time doesn't really want to lose it. Trying to Metal Gear Solid snake here through the water. That was good. Damn, I'm good. My jokes only hit like 1 out of 5 times, right? Come on, that Metal Gear Solid snake. It was pretty relevant, okay. But so many squirrels here. I love this from QQ as well. Like, when you do invest in the ferrets, like, he's not trying to get overly fancy here. He's just building tier 1 in defenses. Also, a really robust economy behind him. Wow, QQ really giving us a ferret 101. But again, like I said earlier, I mean, this is the map for it, for sure. But QQ's got plan B in the deck, which I think is important with the ferret comp. Like, the plan B of the deck was Falcon Owl. Like, stay on Squirrel, stay on the defense, power up to, like, an Owl Falcon comp. But yeah, QQ with the classic Ferret Siege there, taking the series very close, 3-2. Love to see it. Alright, so what we got next? We're gonna go into Mishi versus Pigeon Rush. This should be a fun one. Love to see Mishi hanging out playing still, man. That's what I love about games like Tooth and Tail. They're really fun. Like, if you've ever got really into Tooth and Tail, it's kind of surprising if you never come back. You know what I mean? Like, you might take a break for a bit, but it's fun to keep up with the scene, watch some casts, and join up in the events, and that's what seems to be what Mishi's doing. Let's get into it. Over in the bottom, we've got Mishi, the legend, and up top, Rush. Alright, so yeah, Mishi goes way back. I think he started in late 2017, and in 2018 was arguably one of the best players in the game. Back then, you got guys like Chip from Space, you had DJ Soak, you had Mishi, Pyle. There was a lot of them. These were kind of the like post alpha days when. So for a little while, right after the alpha, some of those alpha players were just kind of dominant. But then once the rest of us had a few months to kind of understand the game and start playing, we saw the rise to power and fame and glory of some of these other guys, and Mishi was one of them. Winning some pretty early Tooth and Tail events. He also casted. He also made some great YouTube videos. I would actually recommend watching those even to this day. Mishi did a couple like high-level tutorial, like deep dives, I guess, for PvP, like talking about various concepts of the game. Also used to cast. I've casted with Mishi several times back in the day. I think we did this like really good Tooth and Tail anniversary event one time. I think that was me and Mishi casting. And we had Glorious AFB do this really cool artwork for it. It was awesome. That was a good time. Got that one logged in as a good memory. Okay. So, Mishi going for this Wolfcam Falcon style. I like it a lot. I try to add the Fox into it too, just for fun. But I think Wolfcam Falcon is a pretty cool core for a nice, strong mid-game army. I think you want to put on a lot of pressure in the early game with like the Squizzard Cam, and then find the right time for the Wolf, and then kind of sell off some tier 1 and try to get a big Cam Falcon ball put together. Meanwhile, Rush with kind of your standard Badger build. Pigeon, Squirrel, Skunk, Badger is kind of the core of that composition. Kind of add in whatever other units you like. Rush prefers the mines here, and Snake is always always a good unit to choose. So yeah, we got a macro game on our hands. Mishi gonna be getting up to faster tier 2. Rush is not aware of that yet. But this is really what Rush was looking for right now. Just wanted to get that farm count. Goes up to 4. Always love to see that. You want to stay a couple farms ahead on the second base. It's always a comfortable spot to be. Alright, Cam's gonna clear up this cabin. Get that out of the way for Mishi. Yeah, Mishi's just going for a macro game, and Rush is following suit. Rush actually... Alright, already on 2 farm. Okay, so we're on pure 2 farm economies here, or 2 base economies. No engagement, so that means the players have a ton of resources available to build up a large Deathball army. This is what can be really fun about Tooth and Tail, is, you know, when you're on 2 base like this compared to when you're on 2 base where you guys have been trading punches all game long, it's a completely different game. So I think what we'll probably end up seeing here is a big Deathball army, 2 base, and then after that you're going to have to decide what you want to keep, what you want to sell. Here comes a wolf. I like this mine from Rush, just kind of letting him know when this base gets taken. I don't think 1 mine kills a pig, but I think I have seen Premium Bow use like 2 mines to kill a building pig before, or a pig that spawns. I'm not sure if the numbers work out that way these days, but it was kind of a Kappa move. No third base attempts just yet, and I like this for Mishi. I don't think Mishi really wants to go into any farther. He might take this third base here, but I think a push is the better idea, because this map is favorable for Rush. He's got 4 gristmills compared to the 3 of Mishi. So eventually, if Mishi just kind of hangs out, then Rush will get the advantage later on in the game. So Mishi's the one who's got to do something here. Yeah, and this is exactly it. This is what you want to do with this Wolfcam Falcon. Get up comfortably on the 2 base, and then when the wolf is about getting done, what's it, a minute, right? Tier 2 is 20 seconds to build the Warren and build the units, I'm pretty sure. So you need 1 minute to build Tier 2 Warren and both the units out of it. So basically, like right before the wolf Warren is finished building, you can throw down your Tier 2, and then it'll all kind of line up and spawn together. Mishi was pretty close with his timings on that, as you can see. All the Tier 2 are right here as the wolf spawns. It's selling off all that Tier 1 not only gives you the extra money for the Tier 2, but it helps prevent the buff from getting wasted on the Tier 1 units. However, Mishi really needs to like win this army hardcore. The risk that Mishi is taking, or win the engagement, the risk that Mishi's taking is he doesn't have a lot of Tier 1 Warrens, so once this army falls, it's going to take a long time for him to rebuild it. But here we go, Mishi is going in for the engagement. Can he focus down the Badger with his Falcons? He does immediately. The Cam Falcon puts out a ton of damage, but will it actually be enough to finish this off? Mishi needs to be focusing these snakes here, but is going to prioritize keeping the wolf alive. Didn't want to dive in with this commander and target those snakes and leave his wolf vulnerable to get tags on it. And now Rush is pushing in. I mean, at the beginning of that fight, it looked pretty good for Mishi, but these snakes being alive here on the back have really helped keep a lot of wind in the sails of Rush. But now Rush is going to get cleaned up from the respawns of Mishi, who is just looking for this big tanky Cam on the ground, big bursty Falcon in the air, and this wolf to yell at him, make him work harder here. And it looks like this second wave from Mishi is going to be too much damage, and Rush will have to tap here. Cool composition from Mishi. Going to be able to take this victory. And yeah, this should be over now. So we'll fast forward a bit here as Mishi cleans it up, or as Rush gets to his inevitable doom here. Rush is a never surrender boy. There it is. Alright. Look at the, this is kind of interesting. Like, the first fight, it was honestly pretty even. But maybe the counterattack from Rush was a mistake, because from there, Mishi was able to just rebuild. I think, although that army that Mishi had was kind of, takes a long time to get rolling, you know, because you have to build the tier 2 again, but it feels like a very cost-effective army, especially in low numbers. Like Cam Falcon, very sturdy, very powerful. I was surprised that second wave for Mishi worked as well as it did, but it makes sense because Rush, well, you know, he's really got like a snake or a handful of squirrels at that point. Anyways, game number 2 here. Let's see if Rush can bring it back, tie things up. And in the bottom, fresh off a win, we got Mishi up top. Rush, both players changing up decks very significantly here. All right, Rush with Wolf Ferret. So there was a, I always think of Print F. If you're familiar with RTS lore in general, yeah, you might have heard of Print F. He's a very famous StarCraft 2 player, known for his very powerful cheeses. Cannon rushing in particular. Cheese is interesting in StarCraft as it is kind of in Tooth and Tail, kind of similar idea where, you know, you can get an easy win every now and then, but generally it doesn't work at the high levels, you know. And cannon rushing in StarCraft was kind of like that, so it was really cool to see Print F like be able to execute those cannon rushes even at a pro level and like take wins off good pros. But I bring that up because Print F was into Tooth and Tail for a while when the game first came out, and guys like Total Biscuit, rest in peace, were really into it and promoting it a lot. Print F played, and he was really good at this Wolf Ferret Fox like balloon MG style that was actually kind of popular and kind of meta for a little while in like 2018. Not meta to the point where everyone's doing it, but it's not unheard of. You know, this big like Wolf Ferret kind of defensive thing. And I like the ferrets paired with the mines, paired with the lizards. You know, generally as we saw QQ kind of do demonstrate in the previous series, you know, you can take a lot of map advantage, map presence with lizards, even if you're not necessarily finding the angle, but if you're constantly threatening your opponent, like, oh, I'm coming in here, or oh, I'm coming in this way, you know, your opponent's got to be tracking your commander, making sure their lizards are in the right spot, and that allows you to get away with, like, unorthodox tech not getting scouted, I suppose. But Rush does have the Cam Falcon Wolf package here, so I might be overreading the ferrets, honestly, in Rush's deck. The ferrets might have been like, hey, I'm willing to give up the spot in my deck to, like, you know, oh, if I roll the dice right on map gen and I get a good map where I can abuse ferrets, great. But if I don't, kind of like this map, then fine, I don't need them. I got lizards, I got Cam Falcon Wolf in the late game. Oh, Mishi getting a bit too big for his britches here. Was trying to bait Rush back into that mine, which he does do, but just doesn't have enough follow-up lizards to really capitalize. Rush, meanwhile, on the second base, and as I've been rambling on about stuff that is not relevant to this match at all, Mishi successfully took a ninja base up here in the 3 o'clock. Rush has not scouted it. And Rush has got to be thinking to himself, like, where's Mishi's money? There we go. This is Rush doing his due diligence here. Does find the space. Is going to rally these lizards over, and this might just be a Rush victory. The mines help slow down. But yeah, Rush can still get a lot of damage here. I don't think I would target the mill. I think I'd target the pigs. Oh, man, Rush had to make a split-second decision and thought he had enough to target that mill down, and he didn't. And Mishi able to clean up all the lizards of the opponent, and now gonna pick up some bacon of his own. Gonna dive on. I think Mishi's overextending a little bit here. Dang, man. Oh, I feel so bad for Rush, because that would have been a win if Rush would have targeted the pigs instead of the mill. He got he smelled blood in the water, man. He really wanted that big win. Oh, Mishi gonna defend with a lot of mines this time around. Rush does scout him. Yeah, lizards are actually not very good at cleaning up mines. Even. No, you gotta get it. Oh, Rush! He did not pick up the warren, or the mill. I think this time around he could have finished it off. This is rough. I mean, Rush has been around long enough in the scene to respect Mishi. Because again, for a very long time, Mishi was arguably the best player in the game. So I think maybe that's coming into it a bit. A little bit of nerves here. Mishi will catch these lizards, clean it up, but Rush did a lot of damage here. Like, and Rush isn't gonna get totally ran over in this engagement. He's gonna trade okay. Much better for Mishi though. But the reinforcements here, like Mishi's not gonna be able to get that damage done. So even though Rush kind of botched a couple of those attacks on the ninja base, he still got the job done in the end. He knocked out that base. Mishi trying to switch over to double owl here. Realizing that this game is getting scrappy. This game is going to get low eco, and maybe double owl will give him enough value to win, but I mean, it's 4 to 9 farms here. And I tend to do this kind of thing like Mishi is as well, where it might not be like the objectively right choice to try to get into the double owl. Like, maybe you're better off just building farms, building lizards, that kind of thing. But I love, like, this is so much more fun to do. Are you kidding me? Like, I understand why the choice for Mishi was double owl, just because it's like, come on. Come on, man. Sneaking out 2 tier 3 at this phase of the game? Like, how can you help yourself? That's what it's all about. Okay, let's see what Mishi can get done with this double owl. Rush still not aware of it. Rush gonna grab this base, actually. And Mishi gonna get some good value. Just clean up these mines. Lots of mines this game have been very relevant. And sorry, getting texted. Yeah, the mines do pretty well against the lizards, so I can understand why you take them. The cat's out of the bag now, but not in the caboodle. Rush knows about these owls, trying to get into some falcons to be able to target those down. I think Rush is going to want some cams too. So Mishi kind of got away with it. You know, I was worried for him for a bit because it was like 4 farms to 9. But Mishi got there. 8 farms to 8 farms, pretty much. And now Rush has got to figure out what to do about these mice. This might just be a game-winning position for Mishi. I think a couple more of these volleys, and Mishi is just going to get way too much value. Yeah, Rush just doesn't have anything on the ground to deal with these mice. He needed some snakes or some cams, but even still, that can be difficult. I got Swifty in the chat. We're watching a Mishi game. What is this, 2018? Alright, snakes on the way from Mishi. This base does still stand. And yeah, this is pretty much it. Rush is going to hang out. Again, Rush typically doesn't surrender. It is a tournament match, so I can always, you know, tip of the hat to the guys who stick it out and try to play till the better end. But Mishi's got it from here. So that'll put Mishi up 2-0 in this series. Rush has got one more chance to get back into this. And honestly, Rush played really well. Mishi, in the end of the day, I think Rush kind of fumbled a bit on how he was handling this ninja base that was there previously. And then Rush also just never scouted the owls and either prepared for the owls accordingly or tried to strike while Mishi had 720 bucks wrapped up in building tier 3. So there it is. Mishi will take game number 2. And let's see if Rush will be able to bring it back. Game 3 here. Thank you everybody for tuning in. As always, it's a pleasure. Tatanka, did you say you were going to stream? I thought I saw that earlier in the chat. On the left-hand side, we got Mishi. On the right, Rush. No pressure, but I thought I saw somebody in the chat say they were about... Oh, no, maybe that was Protocam. Regardless, if anybody wants to start up a Tooth and Tail stream when I'm getting about done, I'll be happy to raid. Protocam, yeah. Okay, so yeah, when we get done here, we'll host Protocam. And we go check them out, Protocam. Also, I kind of put like QQ and Protocam in the same camp. Is that weird? Do you see what I'm saying, Proto? Like, you guys have a lot in common as far as playstyle. Like, you're both pretty aggressive. You know, both kind of old school players, trying out different things, but can hang in the meta if you want to. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Proto and QQ are pretty similar. It'd be cool to watch you two duke it out. Alright, so let's see how this game is going. Big commitment to Wolf from Rush. And meanwhile, Mishi going for a very cool deck here. Ferret Fox. Old school kind of stuff. Yeah, let's see if Mishi... Okay, Mishi's actually really all in on this idea. Like... and that's important to do, I think. You know, if you're gonna go for a strategy, man, go for that strategy. It's it kind of reminds me. I mean, it is technically a deck because it's like picking 6 units, but it reminds me a lot of like a Magic the Gathering deck. Like, you might have cards in a. You don't want to just build a Magic deck by putting all the best cards in there together. You need cards that synergize well and work together well. And I think that's what Mishi's doing here. With this, like, Ferret Fox arty kind of style. I kind of feel like... And it's been a staple forever, and it's a style that I use from time to time, but I almost feel like Ferret Fox is a little bit redundant. You know, since they're doing the same job. I mean, I understand the concept is like, well, if they have turrets, the Ferrets can knock out the turrets, get them out of the way for your Fox. But most of the time, it doesn't come down to that. I mean, MGs are getting more popular. Mishi really putting on some pressure here, giving Rush a run for his money with a nice squirrel push with mines. So you don't normally see squirrels work this well against lizards. Maybe the mines helped a lot. I honestly, I missed something in this game. I was rambling on. About nonsense too much, I apologize. I kind of hope Mishi wins this soon, because I'd like to like fast forward real quick and see what happened. Because Mishi did something to get a very big advantage. And now he's just, again, using that killer instinct that high-level players have to know, alright, I've got enough of a lead. I can keep on keeping on here and force a win. And I think that's what we're going to have here. Rush is going to hang on as much as he can, but he is dead-a-roni, unfortunately. The Lizard's not going to do well. Lizards need this kind of critical mass. You know, Lizards are not good by themselves, kind of funneling out one-to-one. Mishi with the Globetrotter move here, throwing down the double arty, like, alright, man, if you don't want to surrender, we'll give the caster a good show. Yeah, even pulling back the squirrels. Oh, Mishi. I appreciate it. Hey, how often do you see this? This is a total dunk move, by the way, not to confuse any new players. This is Mishi basically saying to Rush, like, you should have tapped out. There it is. Bam, 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 bam. Nice victory there from Mishi. Okay, yeah, let me, I kind of misread the game. So what happened was I misread the game and I thought we were going to go to a macro game, so I started rambling on for a while. Zoning out a bit, and then when I realized that's not what was happening, it was too late. Alright, so let me see what happened here. Like, how did Mishi get that big of a lead? Anything crazy happen? So we had a 5-farm Warren from Rush. Mishi sees it, responds with 6-farm Warren. 5-farm double, no attacks yet. 6-farm double. Alright, oh, okay, Rush sold 1 Warren. Was that really it? So, the only thing that has given Mishi a little bit of tempo so far is that Rush sold one of his Warrens to get a faster farm. And Mishi saw that and immediately went into aggro mode. And is starting to build some mines here. So right now, Rush doesn't have enough lizards. Because Mishi is on Warren number 3. Rush is still rebuilding that one he sold. And the squirrel mine doing quite nicely. We saw a lot of mines this game. No, yeah, okay, yeah, so this is where I started watching again, so... Dang! That was really it, huh? I mean, the map's pretty small, but it's not insanely small. Yeah, that was it. Okay. So, we were in a bit of Tier 1 chicken in the early game, and Rush did the move that is right most of the time. He was just, hey, we're going to go into a macro game from here. But Mishi saw that and was just like, no, I'm going to push the issue. And sure enough, Mishi was correct. And just having a little bit of an advantage on Tier 1 at that precise moment helped him win the game. Alright, we got one more series here today. I might cast tomorrow if I feel like it. No promises yet, but it'll probably be at the same time. So let's get into Araloo vs. Snake. Araloo, tournament champion. Up here in the top right. Araloo vs. the Gentleman, one of the best series of all times. Bottom left, we got Snake. I wonder how easily you can find that. Like, if I go to YouTube and I type in Araloo vs. Gentleman, will it come up? Yep. There it is. Oh, it's kind of in the middle of the series there. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can find it. Yep. That was me. Was I casting with anybody, or was that just me? No, it was just me. So yeah, if you're curious, you want some more Tooth and Tail action, you can find that that VOD. Fantastic VOD. Alright. Cam Falcon from Araloo. Going for the Artie. Okay, Snake. Snake has, like, the meta deck right now. So I'm actually really excited to watch this. I think that's where a lot of us are, that are kind of becoming more active again for the events and playing. You know, we really are trying to understand, like, what is the right response to Wolf Owl Snake? Like, is there a comp that can just deal with it, or more of a tactic or a strategy? I'm kind of under the opinion you got to get in before it hits, you know? Or you want to keep the game very aggressive. Like, don't try to macro up. Araloo, gonna pick off a pig here. How do I put that correctly? Like, if you think your opponent's on Wolf Owl Snake and you're not, what I believe the right approach is to stay, like, force a lot of fights and try to get the game to the point where it's like they can't really invest in the Wolf Owl, you know? Like, you don't want to just leave them alone and let them get like 3 bases and just go crazy on that. Araloo being very aggressive here with these lizards. Excuse me. Trying to pick some more up. But Snake is a new player who got pretty good pretty fast, to be honest. I'm always a little bit surprised at how well I've seen Snake perform Just because I remember when he was brand new, he was on my team in the Clan Wars, Team P-Boop. He was one of our beginners. And he's stuck with the game and has gotten pretty good. And now he's up against one of the best. Similar to Mishi, Airlu has had periods of Tooth and Tail. I want to say maybe like the 2019 to 2020 kind of era, where you wouldn't be wrong by saying Airlu was the best player, if not one of the best, if not the best, one of the best. Jeez, this is what I meant to say. Airlu was really well known for killer instinct, for smart timings, and for playing very tier 2 heavy. Alright, so the game is settling down a little bit. Airlu again, just trying to stay active, trying to find some areas to harass. Wanted to sneak the cams over. Cams will actually make contact with his turret and clean it up. Nice! Can Airlu stealth these away? It looks like he will. Snake setting up for that reveal. Gonna get one chameleon. So even trade there. And I wonder what the scaling is for Airlu. Maybe the Artie? Wolf on the way for Snake. I had to think about that one for a second. Alright, so we got Wolf number 1 on the way. Did Airlu scout it? Has not. Pretty good placement there. I like generally trying to place the tier 3 away from the second base, because most of the time when you're scouting, you want to, especially before all 8 farms are taken, you're probably going to be scouting down like this if you're Airlu, like checking out how many farms are on that second base. But Airlu's got 4 cams. The 4 cams is a strong bruiser comp here, and he might catch Snake with his pants down a bit, trying to get into that wolf. You know, these turrets giving him a false sense of security as the chameleons pound in. Get some good damage done, but is going to have to back out. Keeps one of the cams alive. Nice trade there for Airlu. And it's just going to keep going on cams for now. Meanwhile, Snake has bought and paid for that wolf. It gets scouted by Airlu now. But a little bit too late. The wolf will be here in like 30 seconds. So, you know, you can like start building an answer to it, but Snake kind of got away with the wolf unless Airlu hits again right here, right now, before the wolf can spawn on the board here. Airlu is going to confirm that Wolf Warren was not sold. Wants to be sneaky with these cams and try to gank that Warren, but Snake is not going to have it. He's got his lizards in position. Airlu wants to take a fight before the wolf is done, but the wolf is here. Will that give Snake enough power to hold on here? Or is Airlu's comp just too strong? Ooh, these snakes zooming out to the front. Airlu's army is so weak, but it looks like he's getting a lot done, but Snake holding on. Keeping a lot of tier 2 alive, keeping the wolf alive. All the cams went down for Airlu. But Airlu does have a lot of tier 1 warrens. He needs to sell a couple of those tier 2. So just to keep the money funneling into tier 1, which it will anyways, I guess, since as 20 food gets used, it will go into it. But the snakes, with that wolf buff there, doing a great job of holding Airlu's comp at bay. And now Airlu's in a little bit of trouble. He does have the better economy. He's got so much tier 1, so can he just roll over the opponent? 4 skunks from Snake, though. And with that wolf buff, can get those gas clouds established pretty quickly. Airlu's got that 4 cams back up and running. He's going to rely on a lot of Squizzard. I think Airlu's micro focus will be on the lizards, trying to target down the tier 2. I think that's the right move, but Airlu really needs a good angle here. He's got a lot of units that have to find tiles. Snake is kind of nice and tight up here, you know, on a high ground with some turrets. But Airlu knows that he can't just sit around. He's seen the wolf, he's seen the snake, so he knows the owl's probably there as well. But Snake's army So cost effective. These skunks getting so much gas down. Look at that engagement. Airlu just getting rolled over. And again, yeah, I kind of expected that there. Airlu really needed a fight in an open field if he was going to fight. I mean, this water slowing things down, the low ground, it's all a little bit clumped up here. The turrets, that was all very good for Snake. And the one thing that Airlu's got going for him, though, is the better economy. The Snake's also got the tech-heavy army. He's got the tier 2. He's got the tier 3. Snake looking for a third base. But Airlu's pumping. I mean, look how much income Airlu has. Airlu can afford to be cost inefficient a little bit. Oh man, this Snake. I wonder how many stacks it is to just kill the mill. That was 7. And keep in mind the stacks reset when you put a new one on. So maybe like 10 or 11. Airlu wanting to catch these snakes out front. Alright, Airlu gonna go for it again. Yeah, he's microing these lizards. He's gonna target down the tier 2. But think about 4 skunks. Especially with the wolf buff. Like, you get out so much gas so fast. Again, Airlu's army absolutely obliterated. And he was able to take that first punch, but the second one, I think, was a knockout blow. Airlu has essentially lost at this point, I think. Well, again, it's hard to say because the economies are so bad. But, I mean, look at these last few engagements for Snake here. And I think it's really been the Wolf Skunk turret, to be honest. Like, the Snakes have been helping, for sure. But both of those fights, like, the Skunk coverage, like, the gas coverage has just been insane. And all of Airlu's tier 1 just melts. Snake has even taken a third base on this. Alright, Airlu's got 2 black eyes right now. But he's still standing. He's got one more fight in him. If he can't absolutely just wreck with this engagement, he should tap out. And again, I mean, all that skunk gas. But the squirrels are still here for Airlu. He's killed the wolf. He's killed the skunks. Snake does not have tier 1 warrants. He's not going to be able to rebuild, but Airlu doesn't have an economy. Snake microing his heart out with the Snake. Gonna get some good oh my god, it's still alive! Okay, there it goes. Oh man, if Airlu had any kind of economy to back this up, he would have just won. But Airlu doesn't know about the hidden base. He never even scouted it. Alright, alright. He's building a mill. He's gonna have to sell some warrants. Can Airlu actually do this? I mean, look, 3 super inefficient fights in a row. And finally there at the end. Got that engagement he was looking for. 59 food feels bad, man. I'm gonna have to sell something. And I think if Airlu knew about this base, he would just tap. He doesn't realize that Snake has a developed economy. But Snake putting a turret there might make Airlu get a little bit exploratory. But Airlu's got no reason to think there's another base yet. Well, he might. He's a really good player. So he might be looking at this thinking, wait a second. Like, Snake's got to have some money somewhere. Yeah, and he thinks it's at this base. So he's looking around. I'm wondering if Airlu's going to put this together. Picks up that pig. That's pretty nice. Doesn't want to leave the squirrels behind. Is going to get into a fight here. And Snake will clean it up. This might be game. Airlu's got nothing left. Only building 1 squirrel. These pigs are going to go down. Here should be the tap from Airlu. Oh, when he watches this replay and he sees, bam, that third base there. Snake with an upset. I mean, again, Snake is a good player, but Airlu is one of the top dogs. That was a really fun game. I actually enjoyed that a lot. Alright. Where are we at? Airlu vs. Snake game 2. Snake in the on the left-hand side, rocking that same meta deck, and over on the right we've got Airlu. And yeah, this is the version. I think this is the Wolf Camp Falcon deck that makes the most sense to me. I don't know about Squizzard in the current meta. I want to believe, right? Like, I want Squirrel Lizard on paper to be stronger than pure Lizard, but I'm not convinced. I think there's situations where you'd rather have Squirrels. You know, choke points. Squirrels are nice. On defense, Squirrels can be nice. But I think most of the time you'd rather have Lizards. And does 30 Lizards beat 15 Squirrels and 15 Lizards, you know? I think, again, that depends a lot on the engagement. Because the nice thing about Squirrel, and who's attacking who? Like, the Squirrels are much better on getting attacked into, because since they have the longer range, they don't have to find a tile, they can get that first shot off and deal DPS before the Lizards even hit them. Yeah, it largely depends on tiles, I think. You know, imagine if there's an army here and then an army engaging into it. I'd rather have Squirrels in that position, you know? Really, for either side. But if we're just fighting out here in the open, I think the Mass Lizard is better. Alright, mills coming up from both sides. Looks like we're heading into a standard match. Don't want to say a macro game just yet. I just think this is pretty much the most standard opening. 8 farm double into a mill into a farm, and just scout your opponents, see what they're doing, and then decide what you want to do next. Mass tier 1, mass farms, get down to tier 2. Pretty mirror for both sides thus far. Yeah, we see a couple of squirrels out from Arrowloo. You know, one thing I really like about Squizzard is you build up like 6 lizards, 9 lizards, and you can run around on the map with them. You can try to harass. But if your lizards get caught and you lose them, you've got squirrels at home, so you're not like totally vulnerable. I like Squizzard in that regard. Squirrels are also better against chameleons. That's another thing. And also we've seen in some spots, like if this mill was taken, you know, you don't want to hard engage with your lizards moving too far forward. The squirrels can like poke the mill and put pressure on. So there are situations like that. Snake a little bit worried here as he's trying to get into tier 2. Build some desperation turrets. Are they going to be enough? It looks like they will get up. 3 turrets. That's a lot of HP to bleed through. Arrowloo's going to get pushed back for now. Nice hold there from Snake. He can let these turrets heal up and then sell them for full value. And he's getting his skunk out, so that's exactly what Snake needed. He didn't lose anything too bad. Arrowloo actually didn't even scout the tier 2. I figured that's why he was trying. He was just, you know, it's a little bit of a shoulder check push out. I mean, Arrowloo lost in the value there, but not by a crazy amount. It was a little bit more efficient for Snake. Arrowloo should still be fine. Going to that double cam, which makes a nice proper push out. It's like a tier 1.5, tier 2 push, you know. Get the 4 cams. What's nice about the 4 cams too is it doesn't feel really committed because cams scale quite nicely, and also if you're on top of your micro, you can try to get them home, pull them back before, you know, they start dying, and get them out of there. Snake trying to be sneaky here. Gonna hide his lizards up here in this foresty pocket for now. Gonna get a nice deep scout in. Does see the third base on the way. Lots of tier 1, couple tier 2. Nothing super surprising. Maybe the third base, if anything. Really fair map. I like it better for Arrowloo, of course. And here's that owl snake, or owl wolf. So Snake is going for it. He's like, you know what? I'm not going to go to 3 base. Instead, I'm just going to invest that money into tier 3. I'm going to stay nice and packed in here with my turrets and get up to the comp that he's looking for. Meanwhile, Arrowloo knows it's on the way. Knows he's not going to get attacked for another couple minutes while those tier 3 units build. Going to full saturate up here. Moving out. Snake still has his lizards up here at the top. Was hoping to do a sneaky play with them. So many turrets. I love these turrets on the ledge. Arrowloo will probably try and navigate his units away from that, but it could get some value. And Airlu gonna come back. Nice little kind of chicken push. I think that was good from Airlu. He forced a lot of turrets out of Snake. And Airlu's gonna fight Owl Snake, Wolf Owl Snake with Cam Falcon Wolf. I'm really looking forward to seeing this. Now, keep in mind, Airlu does have a much larger economy. So even if this works for Airlu, you can't necessarily say Wolf Cam Falcon is what you want against Wolf Owl Snake. Because Airlu is just miles ahead in economy. Snake finally... Snake really needs to sell these turrets once this mill is up and just get full light farms on that base. Otherwise, Airlu is just going to be way too ahead in money. Money, money, money. 3 bases for both sides here. Wolf Owl Snake is up. For Snake. Only 1 owl for now. Mice not getting a whole lot done, but here comes a big fight. And the Cam Falcon is pushing it back for now. These chameleons on the front are pretty sufficiently poisoned, but they're just going to keep smacking things until they die. And yeah, that was very nice for Airlu. Maybe it's not as nice as it looked to me. Army value graphs, pretty even in that engagement. Snake lost a bit more. But he kept alive the Wolf Owl. Some of the snakes. I think Airlu slowly wants to get rid of some tier 1. Or at least wants to keep the tier 1 back until the mice are dealt with. But honestly, 1 owl worth of mice is not that scary. And on that last engagement, Snake had moved the mice forward before the fight, so they weren't even really doing much there. Airlu's gonna swing in! Maybe this is the window for the Cam Falcon approach, you know, like the Cam Falcon is gonna be stronger like right when we get our tier 3s up, but if you let the game just go on too long and too many owls start getting out, maybe the power level overwhelms. But again, keep in mind, Airlu has had a much better economy here, so it's hard to really judge these compositions. Because we're not really comparing apples to apples. Snake is pretty much done for this game. Gonna try to rebuild this base, but knocking out this base as well, that was pretty much the nail in the coffin. Airlu gonna take it slow though. Not too slow, doesn't want to give Snake too much breathing room to recover here. Snake's got a lot of snakes. And the Owl Snake, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Airlu's army is absolutely massive. Gonna rip through these mice and yeah, just dive in on these snakes. And that should be it. Really cool turret placement there. But, alright, Airlu's going to even things up 1-1. I think an important note here as well was Airlu's decision when he scouted the double tier 3. He didn't go right into his own double tier 3. I actually want to highlight this because I think it's an interesting point. So yeah, when Airlu scouted the double tier 3, he built 3rd base saturation, and then he got his wolf. You know, he didn't respond immediately to the double tier 3 like, crap, I need some snakes in my wolf. He's like, nope. It's going to take 2 minutes before those units are there. How long does it take to build a farm? I should probably know that. Isn't it 20 seconds? Oh. Alright, he queued a farm. Let's find out, chat. 2:30. I think it's 20 seconds. It's 30 seconds. Okay. 30 seconds to build a farm. 20 seconds for a mill, right? Yeah, so 2 minutes, right? If you think about it, well, it's minute 40, isn't it? Is it 50 seconds or 55 for a tier 3? Might be 55. Yeah, you need 30 seconds for a pig. So you can easily get those out well in advance. So here you go. Bam. Scouted the wolf owl. Alright. So far, economies are pretty even. Airlu was working on that 3rd base. Does he sell anything? I would expect to see him maybe sell a tier 1 if he has to. Yep. Bam. I mean, he does get the wolf too, but I think this is why he won the game. I think because he knew he's got about a minute and a half, 2 minutes before the tier 3 are here. He's got time to saturate up the base. That's it. Okay, 1-1. Airlu Snake game 3. Alright. In the bottom, we've got Snake. And in the right, we've got Airlu. Alright, this is my kind of deck. This is a deck that I've used before, pretty much. I just didn't go Snake. I think I went Squizzard. But yeah, I tried to make Cam, Falcon, Wolf, Fox work for a long time, and maybe it still can. And honestly, super big brain play from Snake, because Fox is amazing against tier 2. It's probably one of the best units against tier 2, really. And I remember when we were in the previous meta, which was very tier 2 heavy, I had a lot of success with Fox. Back when, like, most people wouldn't even get a tier 3, you know? So, in a vacuum, I think Snake's deck can be a little bit weak against the Wolf Owl Snake, but at the same time, would it be? Because we saw Cam, Falcon, Wolf work last time against that. But he knows Airlu is going for Cam, Falcon, Wolf. Long story short. And I think basically mirroring what Airlu's doing, but adding the Fox is so smart, because the Fox is going to do very, very well against all these units. I'm curious about the Squirrel over Lizard, though. I probably would have rather gone with just Lizard if I was going to go 1 tier 1. But again, if Snake is really... I might be giving Snake too much credit, but I mean, this is a very, very smart deck choice from Snake if the reason he's playing it is the reasons I'm thinking. Because, yeah, Lizard, again, Lizard versus Squirrel in a vacuum. If you're only going to take one, take Lizard. But Snake is banking on the fact that Airlu is going to use this deck again. So Squirrels are better against Cams and Falcons than Lizards are. Right? And then, of course, the Fox, I already discussed that, how the Fox is good against pretty much everything in Airlu's deck. So, yeah, really smart decision-making. And Airlu is one of those players. He's a Holy Grail player, is what I call it. Where Airlu does tend to look for the Holy Grail of decks. He looks for, alright, this is the deck. This is the deck that's good. This is what I'm going to practice. This is what I'm going to use. He's not a guy that changes his deck up every game. And there's strengths and weaknesses to both styles of play. And the weakness to Airlu style is that Snake can, on the fly, do something like try to fine-tune a deck to fight that. But all of this commentary is completely meaningless this game, because we might not even get there. I mean, Airlu's found some nice windows with these Lizards already. Knocking out a couple pigs, taking a decent engagement earlier. So these Supreme late game comps might not even happen. Snake really just wants to macro up, and Airlu's not having it. And it makes sense, because again, Airlu probably thinks it's the Wolf Owl Snake, you know? So ideally, you don't even want to fight that if you don't have to. So Airlu wants to be as punchy as he can. Get in here and keep trading. Keep the enemy on the toes. Don't let them feel comfortable enough to just start throwing down lots of tier 3 warrants. Cam out from both sides. So Snake's kind of weathered the storm, but Airlu's at a nice advantage here. Which is sad, because I think if the game did go long, I think Snake's deck is the better deck here. Well, let me rephrase that. I think Airlu has the better deck. Like, if you're going to grab one of these decks and play ladder, take Airlu's. But I think Snake's deck is very smartly tuned to fight Airlu's deck. So in this specific game, I think Snake would have an advantage later on. Alright, let's see where this is going. More tier 2 on both sides. A little bit of a macro game. This is what Snake wanted to get into. But Airlu will not really give you the chance to get ahead in the eco. Airlu will have no problem powering up himself. Snake is moving out. Airlu trying to flank with these cams? I'm not sure what was going on. He was trying to do something sneaky there, but it wound up some of his cams just weren't in the fight at the beginning. But Airlu still cleans that up. I mean, lizards are good. And nice try from Snake there, but Airlu takes a nice victory, which is not what Snake needed. Snake really needed to just chill out, I think, get on the third base and try to match the economy of Airlu, kind of ride it out, get into that fox. If I'm Snake, I'm trying to get a third base, I'm trying to get a fox. And now that might be tough. Like, Snake was already a bit battered from the early game, and that poor trade might make Airlu get bold here. Airlu might be looking at this like, you know what, I can push in. I can deny that base. Going for the wolf first is Snake. Airlu also, with the misinformation expansion, I like that a lot. Snake probably feeling pretty good about himself. Like, alright, well, Airlu's on 3 bases. He's just now getting first farm on third base, when in reality, Airlu's got a half-saturated third, so Airlu mountains ahead in the economy, and Snake might not be thinking he needs to worry too much about farms right now, where he really does. Snake trying to get into that tier 2. So this game is developing. We're kind of getting into a mid-game now, but Snake is kind of limping into it at the moment. Does have a surprise wolf. Airlu hasn't scouted it yet. He's looking to see if maybe Snake, this was also like a decoy base, but no, Airlu's going to be happy with that scout, knowing this is all the money Snake's got. Now that he knows, he's just going to move in here, because he's like, you know what? I might just straight up kill him, and if I don't, then I'm going to be able to afford to trade better than Snake is. Oh, the wolf is blocked. Everything's in the red here. Airlu denying that base, trading quite nicely, and this is going to be a nice victory here for Airlu. That is the nail in the coffin. The last mining base going down, so Snake should surrender here. And let's see if Snake can bring it back in game number 4. I hope so, because I'm actually really enjoying this series. I had a lot of good series today. Alright, Airlu versus Snake, game number 4 here. Spawning on the left-hand side, we've got Snake, and in the bottom right, we've got Airlu. You know what's interesting about the matches in this series is every single game here has been won or lost based on eco. The first game that Snake won was because he had that hidden base Airlu was not aware of, and was able to outmoney Airlu when things got down to the Stone Age. Second game, Airlu super powered up a third base after seeing the double tier 3, and was able to just kind of have, you know, 1.5 times the money and get in there for the win. More even close to probably 2 times since the main base farms out. And lastly, again, that base, that last game, Airlu had that third base that was half saturated. So it's really been a money series to be. Snake going for the wolf approach. No cams, though. 5 farm double. Airlu did scout it, is responding in suit. Might be able to get a pig here. Take a little extra damage on the way in, but should be able to get a pig. There it is. Okay. Nice job by Snake. I think if he didn't take some pop shots on the way in, if he rallied over like this, probably could have got out of there with the lizard, but not super impactful here in the early game. Snake did pick up a pig, but his farms were delayed to do it. So Airlu's extra mining pig kind of makes up a bit of that food differential. I think you really need to get like 2 pigs. You need to get a little bit more, and this might be it here. Nice job from Snake. Yeah, get away with those 3 lizards. Excellent pickup. But see, in a way, when you do that, it's almost like you get 90 food, right? Because the 60 food of the pig, and then the 30 seconds it takes to rebuild the pig, because the pig wasn't mining. Heirloom gonna come in for the counterattack, and these lizards are not as good on defense. This is one of those killer instinct kind of things. Heirloom's like, alright, you got a pig, but you traded a lot of units for it. I've got a little bit of a window to come in and return the favor, picks up the pig. That only really works when the map is small enough, though. This map was a little bit bigger. Snake losing those lizards for a pig wouldn't have been impactful, because the time that Heirloom got back to the base, the lizards would have been rebuilt. We might see a macro game. That'd be really cool. I'm enjoying the series, and I'd like to see a little bit more out of it. Nice map for a macro game. Pretty even. I like it better for Heirloom, obviously. He's got a nice little castle here. 5 grist mills right in his property, right in his front and backyard, pretty much. Meanwhile, Snake's got 3 up top. You know, this is fine most of the time. I mean, most of the games don't go past 3 bases. This 4th base does suck for Snake. It's going to be really easy for Heirloom to poke that and deny it if the game goes later. So I think Snake is okay for a late game, but not for an ultra late game, you know. I don't think Snake wants us to go to base number 4. He's fine with going to 3 bases. But you gotta watch Heirloom, man. He can be sneaky with his eco, for sure. Pretty late expansion there from Heirloom, but gets it in before the 5-minute mark. He's got a lot of tier 1, but I think with Defender's advantage, Snake is fine right now. Snake trying to get a little bit too fancy, I think, with his micro. That allowed Heirloom to kind of engage while the lizards from Snake weren't quite ready to join the fray. That's going to allow Heirloom to pick up a Warren, but ultimately get pushed back. And Snake holding that off a bit more cost-effectively. Ooh, this is bold. This is very bold from Snake. He sold off tier 1, trying to power up that economy. This is the kind of play that Heirloom's been doing to him, in a way, you know? So, Snake's seeing if he can be the one to initiate and get the better eco. Heirloom does have a couple farms on the second base. Is this going to trigger Heirloom to go ahead and farm up? Looks like it will. Sell a Warren, maybe? Nope. Not going to commit that hard. Oh, unfortunately, the farm that died was not a starting pig. Sometimes that can happen and actually matter. You would prefer that if you are going to lose a pig and not rebuild it, you kind of prefer it is a starting pig. So when the 5-minute mark hits, you still got 4 pigs left on that main. Falcon on the way. Nope. Gonna go for the wolf, maybe? Yeah, not yet. Okay. Just building into the cams. Farming up. Both sides. Kind of cautiously trying to scout. Trying to get that second base fully saturated. Safely. You know, you gotta be careful. You want to stay a couple farms ahead on the expansion. If you get too many farms ahead on the expansion, then you might just get ran over by tier 1 or something. But both players did get to that second base full sat, but they did it so late in the game that we don't really have 2 base economies. It's more like 1.5 right now, and it's going to go back to 1 base. Yeah, you got to establish that 3rd base to really get that 16 farms at the moment. These farms from Heirloom will be on their way out shortly. I like the double cam. I think double cam's a nice nice kind of opener when you're playing this style. It's got a lot of punch. It's a good shoulder check kind of push. And again, you don't have to hard commit. Kind of poke in, see if they're unprepared, and maybe you just win with like Squizzer double cam. But if you don't, trade, re-stealth your cams, try to get most of them out of there alive. And of course, it will build into the wolf comp later on. These cams are one of the best units to get the wolf buff on. Nice deep scout here from Airlu, sees exactly what's happening. And Snake Scouting's been pretty good as well. Ooh, big move out coming from Airlu, though. He's got his 4 cams. And that's going to trigger the time for Airlu to go. Yeah, see, this is a good time, too, because this is where you might be thinking, like, maybe I'll try to sneak out a tier 3 or something. So, again, this is that nice shoulder check. But Snake's got his own tier 2 here. Snake's got a good defender's advantage, so Airlu kind of nods and says, all right, you're not being greedy, trying to get tier 3s, or trying to oversaturate a 3rd. So I'm just going to go home and saturate my 3rd. Good instinct by Snake to get those farms going. Knowing that, okay, Airlu, it's been pushed back for now. Airlu's probably farming up. I'm going to farm up. Airlu just sticking to the cams. I like cams a lot. I think they're good in most situations. I mean, on paper, like, we'd like to say snakes are bad against cams, and maybe they are, but there can be situations where, I mean, yeah, you get the poison on the cams, but the poison kind of kills them slowly, you know, so the cams are still in the front tanking hits, smacking things with their clubs. And sometimes that's enough to, even though the cams die, but they were effective enough against the enemy tier 1, and now the snakes are exposed, and you kill them with your lizards or something. Airlu would like to scout this wolf. That'd be pretty big. Gonna get in here and scouts it. Nice. Meanwhile, Snake moving around. No sneaky backdoor entrance, unfortunately, for Snake. This is such a good spawn for Airlu. Like, you can't... This is, like, literally the best, right? Like, what could you ask for that's better than this? A double high ground, maybe? Like, come on. 5 mills right here on a high ground all together. 1 entrance. I mean, there's a little bit of a sneaky boy entrance over there, but not really. And Snake can't complain either. I mean, this is pretty nice too. But again, this is the point of the game where Snake's got to end it. And Snake does have the wolf on the way and has a pretty big wolf timing advantage. Airlu is just now transitioning into that ultra late game, you know, selling down on the tier 1, getting more tier 2, getting ready for that big wolf. But the wolf is here for Snake. Building a lot of falcons too. So maybe he's not going to go right when the wolf goes. Like, I think Snake can't let Airlu get this 4th base going. Maybe if Snake can defend his 4th, maybe he can, but I mean, Airlu is not afraid to just slam down some farms. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see him sell some tier 1 and just farm the hell out of this here shortly. Trying to save his money for all these falcons, though. And now that timing window that Snake had where he had a wolf and Airlu doesn't is gone. Snake's just hoping he can win in the air here. Out falcon the opponent, which might work. Lizards and falcons kind of have an interesting relationship because there's some spots where lizards are good against falcons, there's some where they're not. Because lizards have such a short range and they need the tile. Like, if everything's all packed up like this, sometimes the lizards can't even hit the falcons. But here we go, big engagement. Being dictated here by Snake. Yeah, Airlu will clean this up. I mean, Cam Falcon is really what you want. The skunks are kind of cool, but it's all about that Cam with the wolf. So Airlu actually just annihilates there, and that is going to be it. Ladies and gentlemen, we got really good viewership. Maybe I should do one more. What do you guys think? One more series? Let me get a drink. I think we can do one more. I'm in the mood. I want to do a good one. I kind of casted these based on what needed to be casted. Let's do one more. Let me grab a drink. And we'll pull one out here. Let me decide. I'm gonna decide which one we're gonna do first, and then I'm gonna AFK for a second. Let me see. Ooh, trumpet for Zen. I'm gonna be picky here. Ooh, we could watch Meek play. Alright, all these have been casted. I want a good one. Let's see. Powlon versus Sassy, that might be pretty good. Ooh, Snake versus Satoros. Goris versus Kipo. You know what? I'm gonna go Trumpet versus Zen. That sounds fun. We're gonna do Trumpet versus Zen. Let me set that up real quick. Bam. Get some casting done. And my wife has been out and about, but I think she's coming home with lunch, with some food pretty soon, so this will be the last one. We're not going to get crazy and keep going forever. Alright. Be right back. Really quick break. Let me just grab another drink, and we'll do this. Okay, let's get into this, see what Zen's got up his sleeve here. Yeah, alright. Spot in the bottom right, we've got Trumpet. Over here on the left-hand side, we've got Zen. I'm always, Trumpet's the protagonist here, and Zen's the antagonist, I feel like, you know? Like, Trumpet, I expect to just play good. That's a weird thing to say, but to me, Trumpet's just like this player who's got a lot of game sense. He's got a lot of RTS experience, being a StarCraft 2 guy. Keeps up with the meta, you know. He's just gonna play some good Tooth and Tail, nice and straightforward and correct. Where Zen is a little bit of a feisty player who's gonna do things like run toads into gristmills. Maybe not on this patch. But so that's kind of my my story to set up this this anime here. Let's see how it pans out. I love this deck from Trumpet, old school. This is like a this guy deck from 2018, pretty much. Just instead of turrets, you'd have moles. Or 2019, I think, is the right time frame. Fine map for both sides. Ooh, oh, I love this. Oh man, I love this so much. I love seeing 8 Farm Mill get punished by moles. This, I believe, as long as that mole aggroes, yeah, okay, yeah, he gets it. This should go down before the squirrels are here. And I think 8 Farm Mill is objectively wrong in a vacuum, but subjectively correct because of the meta. Right. The only way you get punished for 8 Farm Mill is somebody has moles. Nobody has moles. But you're up against Sin, man. This guy's crazy. Look at this. He's gonna punish your 8 Farm Mill, and then he's just gonna throw down a Boar Warren. Oh man, that makes me so happy. Trumpet sees it. Let's see what the response is. He can get his badger. He can just go. Yeah, he's just gonna meet him. Say, all right, man. All right, but I think this is more correct from Trumpet because again, He's leveraging kind of what we saw Araloo leverage, which is where, hey, tier 3 takes a long time to build, so I can go ahead and throw down some farms while we wait. I can sell off some tier 1, not be afraid. I know Zen is not going to attack until the boar is ready. That's not going to be ready for another minute and a half or so. So this decision might just win Trumpet the game. Outside from that, I think the Badger versus boar, the Badger is going to do better in that engagement. Just in a vacuum. Like, if it's 12 squirrels boar versus 12 squirrel badger, I'd put my money on the Badger, you know? Zen getting the fox, too? Oh my god, I love Zen. Oh, I want Zen to win so bad. Like, my heart says Zen, but my brain says Trumpet, you know? And Trumpet's even... I'm surprised he built the turrets. Maybe he just didn't want to get slammed because he did spend that extra money on the eco. But he should be catching up in army value soon. So these turrets are just kind of buying him a little bit more time. Here's that Badger. The boar is just going to roast these turrets very quickly, though. The Badger's not quite here. Okay, Zen does pay for the fox. I was getting worried because you really want to make sure you get that paid for before the engagement happens. Needs to kill these tier 2. The boar's dead. The Badger's faster than it. Yeah, Badger just wrecked that boar. But the boar did some okay damage. Yeah, look at that army value. It's rough. Zen sells the turrets there. Or, I'm sorry, the boar. But again, I think a big part of this is also the income. Like, it's very smart from Trumpet to power farm up in that little bit of time where he knew he would not get attacked. Zen's army can hold this, though. If he can make some esports plays here with the fox, he's gonna get a good shot on the Badger here. He should be. Oh man, some of the squirrel. Okay, chase this home. Chase this home. That's a dead Badger. Bam. 24 damage. Calculated exactly. All right, Zen needs to go right now before Trumpet can build any turrets. Turrets are the one thing. No, don't even wait, man. Go, go, go. Yeah, I like the moles. See, I almost like mole fox better than ferret fox, right? Because I just think ferret fox might be redundant. Because it's like the ferret and the fox are kind of serving the same purpose, but the ferret's just the tier 2 version of it. But you do need something to deal with the defense if you're playing fox, so maybe that's where moles can come in. Moles are pretty cost effective at knocking out turrets. This is gonna push Zen away for now. So many cool things happening, but I'm worried for Zen. Yeah, you gotta keep up with the economy, man. He doesn't know for sure that Trump is doing so well on the eco. Should get the big scout here, though. Okay, sees a fully saturated second. But Trumpet doesn't really have much. Like, he's got the money right now. He's got the saturated base, but outside of that, he's just got a handful of squirrels. Boar Fox is actually really cool. I like that combo a lot. I think I saw Kerpa play it against me in one game. But the boar is also really good at dealing with the turrets, right? Zen looking for something, but Trumpet's pretty nice and tight here with the MGs. Badger back on the way here for Trumpet. Nice scout there by Zen. Zen might win this. If he pushes out with the boar, can start clearing these turrets, poke down the pigs with the fox. Needs a third base. He's got one coming. He knows Trumpet's got one on the way as well. Like, he doesn't really need tier 2. He doesn't need the skunks. I think the skunks are kind of an emergency button in Zen's deck. You know, because the boar is just kind of, it does the AoE that you need. Yeah, here we go. Here we go, boys. Couple farms just in case. Getting dirty. Alright. Zen's looking for some spots. Gonna go ahead and knock out this cabin. And here we go. Badger's not ready. There's only one skunk here for Trumpet. Zen moving in. Starting to roast things down with the boar. This might be a Zen victory here. Trumpet is just trying to buy time. Trying to wait until he's got the Badger up before direct engaging, but he's not going to have enough time. Zen's on top of the Badger Warren. The Badger Warren is going to go down. Oh my god, he didn't. He didn't target it. And the Badger got out. I don't think it's going to matter. But that was hilarious. It took so much damage so fast, but Zen didn't really target it or anything. The moles slacked off. They took a cigarette break rather than finishing that tier 3 Warren. Alright, nice little pocket here for the bacon. Alright, Trumpet's got a Badger and a Dream, but this is game. The Fox can out-kite and poke that Badger down all day long. That's a dead Badger right there. That should be a tap from Trumpet. Zen taking game number 1. In style. Eight farm, mole, deny the second base, into boar. Alright, let's see what happens game number 2. Trumpet with the meta Chad deck. Wolf Owl Snake on the left-hand side. On the right, Zen with another boar fox deck, but pretty different this time around. Looks like maybe he tweaked it a bit to fight the Badger with the balloon. I don't know. Can balloon mine? Not sure what the thought process is on this one. I don't think it makes sense that you get a balloon to deal with the Badger, because you already got the Fox. That's all you need. I mean, the Fox will counter the Badger in most situations. In death ball situations, you'd probably rather have the Badger, because the Fox is not going to be able to actually shoot the Badger. It's just going to waste its shots on, like, tier 1. But when armies are low, or at least mid-size, and, you know, things are going to trade pretty quickly, you'd definitely rather have the Fox. So we got that boar Fox core. I like the cams too. Lizard cam is a nice push in the early game, which I think Zen wants to do. I mean, he doesn't know he's up against Wolf Owl Snake, but again, I think against Wolf Owl Snake, you want to try to keep trading. You don't want to just let the game become, you know, me and you are both powering up, because they're going to have the better late game. But yeah, let's see where this one goes. Let's see if the balloons come into play. We haven't seen much balloon lately. There have been balloon metas, and let me tell you, they are bad. Nobody wants a balloon meta. Oh god, I don't even want to think about balloon metas. The balloons are this weird unit, because they scale, like, insanely. If you get a wall like 10 balloons, there's like nothing. There's nothing that can be done about that. So then the game just like freezes up and it becomes this weird like owl, mice, balloon thing. It just wasn't good. I don't think balloons are bad. I think they're in a good spot at the moment. You know, you probably want like one balloon. Here we go, Zen moving in. You get a lot of vision out of them. I really like that. I really like how the vision is such a big kind of vicarious benefit to the balloon, especially in a lizard meta, which is a bit counterintuitive because balloons are bad against lizards, but you know, sometimes the strength of the lizard is running them around and stabbing in like that, right? So if you have a balloon and that lets you know, oh hey, your opponent's trying to flank you with lizards, gives you that extra heads up to get in position, deny it, could be good. More on the way from Trumpet, or I'm sorry, from Zen. Trumpet hasn't seen it. And again, this is why I really like the lizard play with the boar, with the fox, that kind of stuff. Staying aggressive on the map makes it hard for your opponent to get the confidence to actually come in and do a deep scout like this, because when they do, there's an opportunity that you get attacked by lizards and lose a whole lot. But Trumpet's nice and tight here. 2 turrets in good positions, units in good position, only 1 entrance. Not a good map for lizards to do their sneaky bastard things. Gonna answer the boar with some snakes here. Good response by Trumpet. Should be able to deal with the boar pretty effectively as long as he can get in there with the commander and get those tags. So I don't think this is going to work for Zen if he moves out with this. Let's install the tier 2. Yes, and probably notice that it's Snake because his commander was probably poisoned. Here comes the boar. Gonna go for the fox. Okay, not gonna move out. Yeah, saw the snakes. Like, you know what? We don't have to go yet. Trumpet's not quite ready to do that big transition into the tier 3. I like this from Zen. I don't want him to commit. But I like just kind of faking. I think Zen needs to move back now. But he's gonna go for it. This might be a dead 4. The cam is gonna be gladly sacrificed here. Zen is trying to bait these snakes out. Oh, but this is gonna be bad for Zen. His commander goes in. Oh, but wait! If Trumpet doesn't move his units, okay, the boar bomb was huge, but not a lot of units here to follow up on it. Yeah. Zen getting a bit too big for his britches there. I think he should have just kind of waited for the fox. And now Trumpet feels comfortable and confident enough to start that wolf owl. Yeah, I like the play where Zen moved in, but then I think he should have just moved right back out. I think you move in and you make Trumpet get afraid. You make him build some turrets. You make him build some tier 1. You deny that wolf owl in a way. You know, make him spend money on other things. Zen's powering up for round 2 though. Boar fox on the way here. Let's see. Zen will be able to hit before Trumpet is ready. Building a lot of lizards. I like this. Back it up with a lot of tier 1. As long as his tier 3 doesn't die. Well, the boar can die. It really doesn't want the fox to die. The boar can die, but it needs to get this job done. It needs to clear these turrets. It needs to clear some tier 1. Trumpet trying to be patient. Every second counts here for Trumpet. He's trying to delay. No, but the fox is out of position here. Gonna get poisoned to death very quickly. And Zen's just gonna go for it. But Trumpet should have this, I think. The owl will get here in time. The boar is gonna make a big fuss as it dies there. Nice big hits. The skunks stay alive though, and now wolf owl is here. Trumpet did take some damage, and economies are getting small. Zen is gonna commit to 1 more boar, but gets rid of the fox. And now we've got wolf owl marching across the map. This is fledgling wolf owl though. This is not like fully final form Super Saiyan 3 wolf owl yet. This is still enough as Trumpet is pushing through, getting on top of the Warrens. Yeah, that should be it. Cool deck from Zen, cool idea, but I think some of the attacks were a bit fumbled there. And Trumpet did a really good job of weathering the storm, staying defensive, getting up to that comp that he wanted. And he's going to be able to seal it up here. Going to be 1-1, getting into game number 3. Okay. Game number 3. Tied up, 1-1. Trumpet spawning in the bottom. Going for a boar comp. Pretty cool. And in the top right, Zen. Okay, Zen with the ultimate ferret. This is an all-in ferret deck here. I love it. And this map's pretty good for it. Zen can take his natural. Can start building some defense here. and start shelling down at the opponent. And you gotta love when the defense can serve that double role of both reinforcing your position and aggressively pressuring the opponent. Meanwhile, Trumpet just changing things up. I think this is a change up just to change up from Trumpet. If that makes sense. I mean, the deck looks fine. But I think this is Trumpet just trying to put variety into his series. Looks pretty aggressive too. Like, this is definitely an early to mid game deck here from Trumpet. And Zen is just really all in on this ferret style. What's nice about having lizards is if this ferret style couldn't work because of the map gen, I mean, you could just build lizards, you know. We used to see that a lot more back in the day. Like, nowadays we don't just see pure lizard as often. It's normally accompanied by something, by some cams or something. That certainly would have been an option for Zen if, like, just got really bad map gen for the siege tactic. But this is good map gen for that. I think Zen should be happy about this. You know, you can put a balloon on this high ground here, and then start creeping up some turrets. Be able to shell the other bases, you know, safely from your line here. Even put some mines in this low ground. Let's see if Zen can pull it off. It's not the easiest strategy in the world to execute. There's a lot of vulnerabilities within it. But if you do it just right, it can feel very oppressive. And what's nice about the ferret, too, is that it's just so unexpected. And unlike Tier 3, like, Trumpet comes in here, he sees a Tier 2 building, he's not going to think ferret. You know? Kind of weird spot for turrets, but maybe he's worried Trumpet might try to run around like that with his lizards. Just doesn't want to get hit in the ribs there. But I think he will sell these turrets soon and reposition them. And I think this is a very conservative balloon placement. Maybe that's fine for now, and you can leapfrog it forward when you get a bit more confident, but I think Sin probably could have built this balloon out farther. Maybe he just doesn't want the first one to be exposed. Trumpet also doesn't know about it yet. And here comes the ferret. Trumpet did decide to expand on this base that's a little bit further away first, but yeah, now Zin needs to really reposition his defense up here, right on the line, pretty much. Let's start killing some squirrels. Like, he wants to be able to poke in with his ferret here and then run back to the defense here, and he needs this balloon to give him high ground vision. So let's see if Zen makes those adjustments. Oh, interesting. A little hidden base over there from Trumpet. Alright, Zen catching up on economy here. And let's see if he's going to start leapfrogging now. Yeah, there we go. Get that balloon up here, too. The Trumpet's getting a boar, and Zen has not scouted in quite some time, but some balloons, yeah, there we go. That's the balloon you want. Hey, I don't mean to be nitpicky, but I'm just like, yeah, there we go, Zen. Maybe too many turrets, but it's fine. I'm just excited, that's all. I'm just looking at this comp like, huh, like, are we actually doing it? See, now he's got some high ground vision. Yeah, he's leapfrogging now. Okay. He's doing this correctly. He just had a bit of a slow start. But it was a safe start. Oh man, the boar is just gonna AoE all these turrets though. Yeah, he needs more units. I wouldn't even hate to see double ferret here. And more balloons, yeah. This is a nice contain, but what's funny is Trumpet does have a base right there. I mean, it's not doing anything, but yeah, then now you can put the mines like in Trumpet's territory if you really wanted. This is hilarious. Yeah, there's... Okay, number 4. Number 2 for Ferret, I should say. Alright, Zen is going to knock this base out. How well is the boar going to do here? High ground. Look at that vision from that balloon. So nice. These ferrets can just harass the hell out of this eco. Alright, this is going to be cool. Let's see it. The boar is melting through these turrets, but is it effective enough? The balloons need to kill this boar. Oh my god. Oh, but Zen at the same time has been over here with the lizards just trying to get work done. Trumpet's actually going to keep the boar alive, which is surprising. And Zen weathered that pretty nicely for not knowing that a boar was about to slam into him. Trying to rebuild some turrets here. Is that going to trigger Trumpet to move back out? It is. Trumpet's moving forward. These balloons need to hit the boar. There it is. The boar goes down. Oh my god, I think Zen wins from here. That's it. Trumpet taps. Zen with another cool strategy. Off meta. Coming in and winning that game. That was a very nice map for it. We've seen 2 ferret victories today. That was pretty cool. Okay, game 4. Let's see if Trumpet can bring it back, or if Zen's gonna steal it out here. Over on the right-hand side, Trumpet with the same deck as last time, and over on the left, Zen with a bruiser deck. No tier 3 at all. I think Zen just wants to build Squizzard, Skunk, and Push. Maybe a couple pigeons to reinforce it, some mines. I'll Mishi, as we saw, Mishi kind of utilize in like some combat mines. Excuse me. And the snake's always nice. 4 farm double from Zen to start things out. Trumpet sees it. Needs to respond now though. Gonna respond with a 5 farm double. I like selling off that pig. That was like the pig I'd be after there. Trumpet should get a pig here, I think. Yeah, these 2 lizards will... Oh, it's gonna be close. Maybe the map is just big enough. Where Trumpet defends. Yeah, Trumpet's gonna defend, so... Point on the board for Trumpet so far. Zen's gonna try... Oh, that's an overextension. And Zen bled off 3 lizards for free. Trumpet considering the counterattack, but I don't think it'll work. Ooh, but he's got bulls! Pog! The map is big enough for Zen to get his lizards back before Trumpet gets here. But Zen's kind of faking him out. Now Trumpet's going home. And Zen's gonna move in and kill this Bull Warren? Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know if it was worth the trade for the lizards, though. You need every single unit right now. Ooh, this is gonna be a tough defense. Ah, that's not a good engagement for Zen. This is gonna be a fast victory for Trumpet, it looks like. Zen kinda need to wait till the last minute. And yeah, that is it. Zen's gonna tap. 2-2. Nice and quick match there. Alright, this is for real, the last one of the day. So Protocam, if you still wanted to stream, go ahead and boot her up. And I will give you the host here in a second. Alright, last match. Zen versus Trumpet. Let's go. Spawning to the right-hand side. Trumpet with the Chad meta deck over on the bottom. Zen going back to his roots with that Boar Fox. Yeah, no lizards, as Lego Man quickly points out in the chat. No lizards is interesting. Maybe... I mean, if you're... Huh. I mean, I guess if your goal, like, as Trumpet is... Because you gotta have a game plan. That's one thing I think people forget in RTS, because it can be easy to forget that in Tooth and Tail. It's not easy to forget in, like, StarCraft. Jeez, my brain's starting to fail me, sorry. Because in StarCraft, you have to have a plan, right? It's like, well, I'm gonna go for a Hydra Bust against Protoss and Brood War or something like that. But sometimes in Tooth and Tail, it's easy to like dilly-dally into a game and kind of start reacting to what your opponent's doing, but you don't want to be the one reacting. You want to be the one initiating and making your opponent react to your strategy. But what that rambling point was getting me to is I think the reason why Trumpet is going Squirrel and not Lizard is because his strategy is to get up to Wolf, Owl, Snake. And he wants to get there as fast as he can, so he doesn't want engagements on the map. If he's running around trading with lizards and stuff, that's just delaying the transition. So what Trumpet wants is a spawn like this. He wants 2 bases. He wants to build a turret or 2 if he has to. He wants squirrels on defense. And he just wants to power up to that Wolf, Owl, Snake. So I think in that regard, it does make sense to have squirrels over lizards. Zen being really aggressive here. He's only on 6 farms, so he does need to get some damage done, but I don't think it's going to happen. This is a very defendable spot from Trumpet. Yeah, Trumpet's going to push him back. Oh, this is not looking good for Zen. He needs to give up on this and go home and build farms. Maybe he's going to double down. He's going to grab this this mill. Trumpet's confident, though. Trumpet has more Warrens. Oh, man. This series might just end abruptly on the back of some botched aggression here from Zen. Let's see if Zen can go home, lick his wounds for a bit, and turn this back into a game. Yeah, he's got to give this up. He's got to go home and get back on 8 farms. But Trumpet is miles ahead now. Getting into a skunk, getting into expansion. Maybe Zen can weather the storm, but this is like the bet odds right now are like 80-20 in Trumpet's favor, you know? Like, it's a big lead Trumpet has. And I think it was mostly because Zen delayed his economy so much to try to do that. And then not only was the economy delayed, but the trade was inefficient as well. I like the idea to try to get into the skunks and skimp on the tier 1. The turret is a nice way to skimp on tier 1, because a tier 1 Warren with all 3 of the buddies is 120 bucks, turret's only 60. So it can be kind of cost effective in situations like this. I love this from Zen. I think this is exactly what he needs to be doing. It's very risky, because if Trumpet was just gonna push, Trumpet would just kill him. But you're behind. You gotta do something to try to get back into this. And again, Trumpet's plan is not to push. Trumpet's plan is to get up to 16 farm and get up to that supreme late game comp. So this is kind of what Zen needs. I mean, Zen needed Trumpet to leave him alone. But he just needs to be so greedy. And he is. This is yeah. I think Zen is playing this exactly correct. But now he's got to, like, panic build tier 1 Warrens, you know? Zen has been able to catch up on farms. He's getting up double skunk, which is nice. But Trumpet is starting that transition. You know, sneaking in some snakes, sneaking in a wolf. And I don't think Zen's comp is going to be very strong against this. I mean, he doesn't have the money to get into a boar. He doesn't really have any good answers for the snake. Besides the fox, but he doesn't have money for that. I think with Zen's deck, you're really trying to hit before the Wolf Owl Snake gets established. Or, like, you've got 1 wolf and 1 owl, and I've got a boar and a fox, you know? But Trumpet is just going to be able to sit here and get into this comp nice and well. Let's see if Zen can make something happen. Zen being very diligent on the map, looking for hidden bases, trying to see what's going on. Let's see what is happening now. But again, Trumpet is able to build 2 owls, able to build the wolf. And I think we're about to see Trumpet Just slam on in. Come on and slam. He's gonna welcome Zen to the jam here shortly. Zen's trying. You know, I like this a lot from Zen, but he limped into the mid game is the problem. Like if these boars get up, maybe something didn't happen. I wonder if I'd rather have pigeons in Zen's deck than moles, maybe. To deal with the snakes, I don't know. I don't think so. Trumpet's gonna come in though. So much money right now is wrapped up in tier 3 for Zen. Hell, is that okay, honestly? He loses a turret, but doesn't really bleed out his units too bad. And he's buying time. He needs time right now. Trumpet's continuing to evolve though. He's trying to level up his Wolf Owl Snake from Charmeleon to Charizard here. Getting in more and more owls, more and more snakes. Fox is out and about, but there are turrets to deal with that can kill the skunk though. A little bit of value there. Yeah, I just don't think Zen's army's gonna scale. I think if we had pigeons, I'd be a little bit more confident. But let's see if Trumpet can just end the game right here. One boar is at the front, the other boar is on its way. Oh, good Fox micro here, trying to find an angle where the mice are not. Gonna start picking out some tier 2, but those buffed up snakes are gonna catch the Fox. And that is one dead Kasha, unfortunately. Trumpet on 3 bases now, but 2 base economy since the mains are bone dry. Just building slowly but surely into more of these late game tools here. Lots of turrets. It's very difficult for Zen to really come in here and try to pressure Trumpet. He's very well defended, and he's just slowly going to start increasing the owl and snake counts. This just might be too much. The boar is doing a good job here roasting up all the mice. Actually, very nice job roasting the mice. The double boar there. But Zen just doesn't have an answer for the snake part of this comp. Yeah, that was actually not bad from Zen. Especially since he's at a big eco disadvantage too. He's trying to rectify that at the moment. Getting more and more skunks. Yeah, imagine if he had some pigeons. Like, I think there might be some merit to this comp. I just think you drop the moles for pigeons, right? The turrets are really nice in this Wolf Owl deck too. This Fox trying to get something done in between the fights, but not easy. Trumpet gonna push in again. One turret down. These mice really funneling right into the flamethrower there. Now that the mice are done, the Fox can start trying to get some value. I was still shooting mice, so it needed to hit some snakes. There's one snake down. And get the second snake with that Fox. Not quite. Yeah, this double boar is weathering the storm nice, yeah. I think you need the pigeons, though. It's like the 4th time I've said that. I just really wish Zen had some pigeons here. Makes me want to try more Fox. Like, I know it's a comp. I have seen it. I've heard of it. Boars do eventually fall. The commander falls from Zen. And Trumpet will be taking the victory here soon. Really close series. We had 2 series today. Go to game number 5. So cool to see. The Trumpet will push in. Owl number 6 on the way. Cannot stop the meta. The meta Chad Owl Snake Wolf deck. Look at this. Trumpet piloting this deck phenomenally too. Did a really good job of just staying passive and macroing up correctly. Never give up, never surrender from Zen. Got that mole attack coming in, but there it is. All right, everybody, that's it for the show. Stream for 2.5 hours, so pretty good. Thanks everyone for hanging out. It's always a pleasure, especially because I'm not really on a schedule these days. I just kind of stream whenever I feel like it, but maybe we'll stream tomorrow around the same time if I do. But let's go give Protocam a raid. He's probably laddering if I had to guess. So it was fun, everybody. Take care. I'll see you next time.